Assalamu alaikum dear friends. We welcome you on PMS Punjab 2021. Here we introduce a series of videos on English grammar and vocabulary, as this is the key area of course contents in the paper of English composition. In this series, we intend to present detailed concepts of English grammar by making them easy to understand. To begin with the study of a sentence, we define sentence as a group of words which make a complete sense. So we must have a subject to speak about in a sentence, and we must say or predicate something about that subject. When we make a sentence, we name some person or thing. We say something about that person or thing. So the part which names the person or thing we are speaking about, that is called the subject of the sentence. And the part which tells something about the subject, that is called the predicate of the sentence. The subject of a sentence usually comes first, but occasionally it is put after the predicate. Here are some examples of the subject and predicate. All roads lead to Rome. Here, all roads is the subject and lead to Rome is the predicate. Similarly, the dewdrops glitter in the sunshine. The dewdrops is the subject. Glitter in the sunshine is the predicate. There are 4 types of sentences: declarative, imperative, interrogative, and exclamatory sentences. Hence, a sentence that makes a statement or assertion is called a declarative or assertive sentence, and a sentence that expresses a command or an entreaty is called an imperative sentence. A sentence that expresses strong feelings is called an exclamatory sentence, and a sentence that asks a question is called an interrogative sentence. Declarative sentences. A declarative sentence is written in the present tense and it expresses a direct statement. It can be a simple or compound sentence. We can also define it as a sentence that makes a statement. It is used to pass on information. A declarative sentence always ends with a period or a full stop. It is further studied as simple declarative and a compound declarative. A simple declarative sentence has a simple sentence structure. Its structure consists of a subject and a predicate. And a compound declarative sentence joins 2 related phrases with a comma and conjunction, such as and, yet, or but. These phrases can also be united by a semicolon, which is sometimes accompanied by a transition word like besides, however, or therefore. So these are the examples. Imperative sentences. This is an expression of a command. Mostly the subject is left out in imperative sentences and it is assumed as understood, such as in sentences like sit down, don't move, and thank him. The subject is left out in these examples. Imperative sentences can be in positive or negative form and can refer to present or future time. These are some examples. Positive imperatives: shoot. Negative imperative: don't move. There are some imperative special cases. Condition number 1, imperative with subject. As I have already established the concept that normally when we use the imperative, there is no subject because the subject is obvious, it's you. Sometimes, however, to make the subject clear, we do use a subject. For example, everybody look, relax everybody, nobody move, John sit down, the rest of you go home, somebody answer the phone, you keep out of this. So we can also use you as the subject to imply anger, as in some examples, you watch your mouth, young man, you be quiet, don't you talk to me like that. Secondly, unreal commands. We often express hope and make suggestions with the imperative forms, but these are not real commands. For example, have a good trip. Enjoy the meal. If there's no olive oil, try almond oil. This is the example of a suggestion. Number 3, imperatives with do. If we put do before the imperatives, the effect is to make requests, apologies, and complaints more emphatic but also more polite. Do take a seat. This is the example of a request. Do forgive me. I don't mean to offend you. This is an apology. Do try to keep the noise down, gentlemen. This is complaint. Case number 4, imperatives with always, never, and ever. So the words always, never, and ever come before imperatives, as in these examples. Always remember who's boss. Never speak to me like that again. Don't ever speak to me like that again. Number 5, passive imperatives. We sometimes make passive imperatives with get. For example, get vaccinated before your holiday. Number 6, imperative with and. We can sometimes use imperative plus and instead of an if clause. For example, go now and I'll never speak to you again. It means if you go now, I'll never speak. And case number 7, imperative with question tags. We sometimes use these question tags after imperatives. Can you, can't you, could you, will you, won't you, would you. These are some examples. Lend me $1. Can you? Help me with this. Will you? Keep still. Won't you? Next comes interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentence asks questions. The basic function of an interrogative sentence is to ask direct question. It asks us something or requests information. Interrogative sentence requires an answer. This is the basic structure. There are 3 basic question types and they are all interrogative in nature. Number 1, yes or no question. For example, do you want dinner? The answer would be no, thank you, or yes, please. Number 2, question word WH questions. The answer is information. For example, where do you live? The answer is in Pakistan or whatever the place would be. Number 3, choice questions. The answer is in the question. For example, do you want tea or coffee? The answer is tea please or coffee please. Interrogative sentence can also be studied in terms of direct questions and indirect questions. Direct questions. Do you like coffee? This is an interrogative sentence with the usual word order for direct questions, such as auxiliary verb plus subject and main verb. In indirect question, she asked me if I was hungry. This is a declarative sentence and it contains an indirect question with no question mark. This sentence has the usual word order for statements, such as subject plus main verb. Next comes exclamative sentences. They express strong feelings or opinion or expresses our personal and magnified assessment of the situation. It is written in one of the two forms, as exclamation can also mean any expression of strong emotions, including one word interjection like ouch, hey, wow. Exclamative sentences can be in any tense. Sometimes we may reinforce an exclamative sentence with an interjection in front of it. For example, God, oh, wow. These are the examples. Wow, what a cool car you have got. There is the case of elliptical exclamatives. Very often we cut exclamative sentences to make short variants, usually without a verb. If they don't have a verb, technically they are not sentences, but they are certainly common expressions in English. For example, short form, what a brilliant idea. The long form, what a brilliant idea that is. What a cool car you have got. How lovely those flowers are. And there are some sentences like, that hurts. This is an example of declarative statement. Who the hell are you? Interrogative question. Don't be so stupid. This is imperative command. Here the point to remember is these are not exclamatory sentences, as they are simply various sentence types made with emotions and given an exclamation mark. It was all about first level of sentence structure. Thank you for watching. My next video will include parts of speech and their placement in a sentence. Till then, Allah Hafiz.